And now we're going to turn the page to NBA hoops as we're going to discuss USA basketball and get you ready for the start of training camp, which is a little over a month or so away. And we're going to bring in the one and only, the ever always understated, but ever opinionated, the one and only Coach Butch McAdams, the host of In and Out of Sports on WLB. Coach, welcome back to the Roundball Report.
Hey, well, you know, I heard the words putting to bed and going to sleep. You know, I was almost there on that Mystic report, I tell you.
Well, Coach, the Mystics, you know, they made it to the playoffs, and as a coach, I'm sure you can appreciate that. But on the USA basketball front, a lot has changed since we last talked, Coach. I mean, we had the Wizards backcourt didn't make the team. We had the Paul George injury and the aftermath of that.
What a surprise by that. what a surprise. But look, you know what? I'm hoping that the guys will have good character and use this as motivation to continue to grow and improve.
Without a doubt, because we were talking about that on last week's show. And that's exactly, if you recall, Coach, when Gilbert Arenas did not make the team a few years ago, he used that as motivation and dropped 50 and 60 points on every team. And I remember when Dan Toney, who was assistant coach at that time on the Olympic team, was head coach of the Phoenix Suns, and Gilbert dropped 56 on them to beat them. They were talking to him at halftime, and Dan Toney said, I wonder how much he's going to score against Duke. He said, I'm not the head coach. So hopefully, as you mentioned, Bradley Beal and John Wall can use that as fuel, because essentially what they're saying is that you may be an up-and-coming backcourt, but they've kept the entire Golden State backcourt, which is the other up-and-coming backcourt that they're compared with. So they have to be brimming with fire to show what they're capable of when the season starts.
Well, if you look at it from a realistic basis, if you know talent and you know basketball, and everyone on this show certainly falls under that category, you would put objectively John Wall as what, maybe the 5th or 6th best point guard in the NBA today. I mean, he's certainly behind Irving. He's certainly behind Westbrook. He's certainly behind Steph Curry, Chris Paul, you know, just to name a few. And it's probably, you know, Rondo. So, you know, that's about right for him. And I think he still has some years ahead of him. And to use it as motivation.
And Coach, and I think it's not just in terms of, I don't necessarily agree with some of with the rating in terms of where he stands, but in terms of the international game, where Irving's ability to knock down the open jump shot on a much more consistent basis makes him a better fit for this style of game than John Wall.
Wait a minute, come on, Andrew. You know I love you, Andrew. Come on, stop the apologies. I don't care whether it's the national, international, or Berry Farms or Jello Summer League. Kyrie Irving is a better shooter, and he's going to play.
I just said he was a better shooter. I'm saying if
but
I
you said international competition, it doesn't matter. It
does in the international game, because they play zones and they have the shorter three-point line. So John's ability to penetrate and dish quicker is not going to be as effective as it will in the NBA game, where they regulate against the zone.
Right. He definitely would have to be a little more aggressive in the international side of the game. And John Wall does not have that level of aggression. Not yet.
Well, but again, he needs to he needs to really improve himself, and he's got to become a better jump shooter. I mean, John Wall has to become a better jump shooter, and he has to have more confidence in his jump shot. Bradley Beal, for my money, it's just a matter of maturation, both from a court savvy standpoint and a physical savvy standpoint.
Right.
Without a doubt. And like I said, Coach, that's a positive. I think the Wizards fans can take 2 positives from it. 3, actually. 1, they don't run the risk of getting injured. 2, they have time to work on their games for the remainder of the summer. Right. And 3, the motivation factor.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and look, you know, there's no disgrace for that. You know, as I said, these guys will have their shot. And if they use it as motivation and really truly be objective and say there are some things that I need to improve upon, they'll be fine.
But do you think they're going to do that? Do you think John Wall sees it from that perspective, that there are things about my game, about my skill level, some fundamental things I need to work on so that I can make the team next year or the year after?
If he doesn't see it, then he won't grow. I mean, he's got to see it. If he has any objectivity and any real reality in him, he's got to see it. All he has to do is look at the tape on some of the second-round playoff games.
Right. And being able to consistently hit that shot, Coach, is going to open things up for him. But since we last talk about we haven't had a chance to speak. You may have spoken since some of the free agent stuff went down. But what's the overall reaction? Because I think when we talked before, they had made the Paul Pierce aspect, but since then they got DeJuan Blair, Humphreys, and they brought Seraphin back, but and we got a chance to see the evolution and development of the kid from Georgetown,
Porter,
Otto Porter, and Glenn Rice during the summer league. So the prospects, the more important prospects, are them coming in and hopefully vying upon the veteran leadership of a guy like Paul Pierce. If they pick up their game, learning how to win at home, then they stand a chance to earn one of the home court spots in the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Well, as I said after the trade occurred, that I was certainly a big supporter of that trade for a number of reasons. Paul Pierce still has a little bit of gas in the tank, and when I say a little bit, throughout the entire 80-plus game regular season schedule, he's not going to, give you 25 points every night. But he's a guy that when you need a score with 10 seconds left on the clock, you can give him the ball. And secondly, as you say, he can teach the younger guy, i.e. Wall and Beal and Porter, how to win and how to prepare to win.
And the great thing about it, Coach, before we go to break, and we'll talk more about it on the other side, is like you said, the better Otto Porter looks, the better the situation looks for Paul Pierce, because then they can reserve him during the regular season and keep him for money time when the playoffs come. But, Coach, hold your thoughts on that. We're going to go to a quick break, and we'll continue our discussion of USA basketball and get you ready for the upcoming NBA training camps as Nikki and I are joined with the one and only Coach Butch McAdams via telephone. So stay with us.